Today, what I was planning to cover is to go a bit in depth on the 4 different types of media mentions. And then I was going to take you guys for a test drive behind the scenes of Haro and show you what the back end of some of the Haro pitches look like for a journalist and what, to help inform you guys in your efforts as you're pitching. I get literally like hundreds. These are like queries that my team will go in and I'll write, and then people will go in and do. And you can see the different numbers of pitches. So they're organized by date. This one I had 69 pitches come in on this story. So, and some of these are duplicative because sometimes Haro is amazing. Haro goes out to literally millions of people. And depending on the day, like I don't check Haro most days because I don't have time, right? So I have a team that will check Haro from time to time, but for me, that's not a useful investment usually in my time because there are other much more powerful media opportunities that we focus on. So I think when you're deciding how much time to invest in Haro and what things that you do, I think it can be a very good best practice to either yourself or delegate, someone to just spend 5 to 30 minutes looking at the Haros, and there are 3 different editions throughout the day. But I don't think you always have to be first. I think sometimes being first in Haro is good, but I will tell you most of the ways that reporters will use it is, I'll give you an example. There's a story that I've been researching for a really long time in here, this one. And this summary, this is also interesting too as a teaching tool. This summary, I didn't get good responses on this story because I used the headline that I'm going to plan eventually for the story, but people who were scanning it didn't realize that this was a story for attorneys, that I was looking for comment for attorneys. So we reposted this one because I'm getting closer to writing that story and I wanted to have the research ready to go. And it still is a more, it's kind of a more niche topic, but I think it was this one where it says seeking attorney experts. And you see I immediately got 13 folks weighing in with their expertise. If you're wanting to send something to somebody, and this is true whether you're using Haro or whether you're using another, just their email, their Twitter, their LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you're giving them the information up front, that you're concise, condensed, and compelling. One of the things, and this is where we want to get you guys all eventually to be pitching yourselves as contributors. And then you can actually be on Haro as a journalist and do similar things to this. So one of the things and one of the ways to hack creating content is you do a roundup of expert advice. I'm busy, and instead of writing full time, which I actually love writing, I write as a journalist, I love writing, but I'll usually write an intro for a story I have a really good idea on, and then I love the variety of bringing in a multitude of expert voices. So that's what I'll often do. That's kind of the formula a lot of writers that are contributors will use. And within that, then people will submit their pitches, and you'll set the deadline. But usually the deadline is it's not when I'm filing the story. It's usually the time that I need the research done so that I can be writing the story and having, and then I won't do the formatting. Usually I'll go in and write it, and then I'll have my team go in and do the formatting to hyperlink things. And that's where, utilizing a link like Brandfolder is key, because if that information is there and easy for us to access, we will use it, and I will tell them, I'll ask my team to pull it. But if it's not, then I'm not going to waste their time searching down, Googling for somebody's photo or for a different link or anything like that. The other power with roundup stories and why they're very effective, and you guys should consider it for those of you that are contributors, is as a piece of follow-up. And again, this is the difference between just media mentions and media mentions that convert. What we do here is then I keep a track of everyone that submitted. So all 77 people who submitted this story, we send them not only an autoresponder immediately, letting them know that we've received it, and we will eventually always follow up. But then once the story is published, to do it in the best time-saving way, we don't separate out people that were featured or not. What we do for these is we'll create a email blast to go back out on the day that it's published or the day before to everyone that submitted. And we'll say, we'll have sort of just a quick intro, thanking them again for their pitch. We'll let them know that it was published, and then we ask them to share it. So then, say we featured 50 people in the article, it really powers up. You automatically already, before you've done anything else on your own network, sharing it to your audience, you have 50 other people who are invested in promoting it and sharing it, not just today, but I get retweets and shares on articles that from like yesterday, Audio Boom, which is one of the big podcast companies, they retweeted it, one of these stories again. And so that's one way that you really, when you talk about media mentions that convert, that's one way to strategically align it with what you're doing in business. And remember that each of these opportunities, it's not only, you're not only pitching, the media, you're also, and this is where the Friday sessions, really, you guys have to think of it as this is an opportunity for you to have a platform for you to share your message. So when you show up and you sparkle and you tell people what you do, then you're connecting with maybe, we have free space for 100 people on the call. So if there's other people on the call that happen to see you and say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, that's exactly what I need right now, I'm going to reach out to her because I really connected with her story.
I think it's phenomenal. I've taken a lot of courses, and I know that your course has so much stuff in it, and your willingness to interact with us on a personal level beyond when you get on voice, messaging us when we have a question. That's really generous of you, because I know there's other people that I've worked with that I felt like I really did not get my money's worth, and it was way more expensive and much less involvement and exchange. And so, kudos to you, because this is really a blessing, I know, to me and to everybody else. So it's great. I just want to build confidence in pitching.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, Jody. And yes, no, and hi, Lisa, and you guys are amazing. And yeah, I think we won't be able to always have this level of like personal interaction as it grows and grows. But that was what the VIP circle and the early adoption and all of this was all about. Good PR cannot spin bad policy or bad companies or bad people. So if you are just an evil, horrible, vile person, or if your company is doing evil, horrible, vile things, I tell people, like, I won't, and not that it's not possible, but ultimately the truth will always come to light, right? So I feel like there's nothing more powerful. Like, publicity can be really powerful, but there's nothing more powerful than like word of mouth on top of that to back it up, because that's ultimately, right? It's all about our connections and who we are. So if you know people who should be in here, please invite them to join us before Friday. We will have a price increase on Saturday. So the next bump, so our super early bird pricing stays in effect through Friday. That's the last day for people to get into the VIP. Then the price bumps up and nobody else can get into the VIP after Saturday. It'll just be, but we are adding some bonuses that you guys will also get for people that come later on.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye.